Hello everybody, this is Gaijinass back again, and today is 2015, May the 25th, coming at you from Tokyo, Japan, and there's a lot to talk about today. First, let's see, last week did the first podcast in over a year, and I know there's some issues with it, sound issues, probably be some sound issues on this one, but you know, as time passes, I'll get some other stuff, some other equipment, microphones, etc., and we'll up the game a little bit. Also get some downloadable MP3 links somewhere. We'll see what happens, but this is just something because I want to have this content going up weekly, and it's something I think is cool. I like to do it. It's fun. So okay, so what's going on? Well, to kick it off, let's see here. Tokyo, today the 25th, around 2:30 p.m., we had a pretty nasty earthquake. It was a 5.6 with the epicenter in Saitama, which is just north of Tokyo, and real just north of Ikebuks, where I'm at. And probably the biggest one I felt since the real big ones from March 2011. It was big enough for me to jump up, go up in my front door in case it got real bad, and had to hold a mirror that's on my wall, move something off a shelf, and things were rocking. And right in the middle of it, my area alert that's built in all the phones here starts squealing, watt, 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 watt. So everything's shaking, the roar of earthquake, power lines outside my balcony are flying all over the place. I'm holding a mirror. I can hear the building creaking and groaning, and on top of all this, I got my phone screaming at me. So that was really nice. Real nice afternoon. But man, nothing wakes you up. Nothing wakes you up and makes you think about the day that you are in at that moment like a goddamn natural disaster. I haven't heard about any injuries or anything, but geez, man, if we get a Tokyo epicenter, anything over like a 6, anything over a 6, it could be really, really bad. And I helped edit a book that a friend of mine, Tony, wrote, The Imminent Tokyo Earthquake. He wrote that a few years ago, and geez, the projections are they're not nice. They're not nice. The Tokyo government projections are also not nice. It's like something like they only expect around 40,000 dead from a major earthquake, epicenter Tokyo, from the earthquake, and then a mere 300,000 dead from fires if it's in the wintertime in the evening. It's really a happy reading. Anyway, that got it going. That got the blood pumping today. The other thing, I jump up, I'm doing all this shit, wondering if I'm going to have to throw on my go fasters and dash out the fucking door. And I'm doing all this on leg day. Yeah, that's right. Did squats this morning at the amazing Tipness X training facility. Razor's Edge training. Razor's Edge. They should invite some Delta Force guys in there. They'd fit right in with this elite cadre of fitness badasses that I have subjected myself to train with. So I'm in there, I do squats today. I got all fucked up. I didn't pay attention to what I was doing. My concentration was elsewhere, and I jumped an entire set in my routine and went right up to my heavy set, and was like, God damn, this is heavy, not realizing it was the heavy set. Just nonsense, complete nonsense. And yeah, there's some dick some dick wearing like 4 different layers of clothes. He's got tight leggings on with pink and purple stripes. He's got shorts over that, black shorts. He's got a tank top on with a windbreaker over it. It's all, wick sweat away material. Sitting on the bench. He's got about, what did he have on there? 40 kilos on the bench. So like 90 pounds. This is a grown man, by the way. 90 pounds on the bench. He'll do a set of bench press, 8 reps. Then he'd check his smartphone, which was in a goddamn fluorescent pink case. And the kicker is, I'm not. This is not a gay joke. I don't think he was gay at all. Just a normal guy at the gym. Then after checking his phone or reading his article or playing Candy Crush, whatever the hell he was doing, then he'd do a set of abs on the bench. Lay back down. Stretch out a little bit, and you do another set of bench with that demanding weight. Then again, check the phone, a little more Candy Crush, some more abs. He was doing that. I was doing stiff leg deadlifts after my squats. 20 minutes on in the squat rack. Or the power rack. He's over there the whole time. Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. So then, my legs are pretty tired. I'd had some good meals. But yeah, the earthquake came. Tell you what, leg day did not matter in iota. Once that adrenaline kicks in, just like Superman, Bionic Man. I mean, I could have jumped out of my 3rd floor balcony and probably made it. Whew, kickstart my heart. So that was something interesting today. There's a bunch of other stuff I want to hit on today. Let's see here. I made some notes actually. Fun news in Japan. Let's see. This is actually from April, but I just stumbled upon it and I thought it was an interesting article. Ex-Yokohama principal arrested for child porn kept 150,000 illicit pics. 150,000 illicit pictures. I guess his name was Yuhei Takashima. And he was a vice principal and principal at several different schools, the Yokohama junior high schools. And they busted him. And this guy, 150 illicit pictures. They found these albums. They got a picture on here. All these albums, 400 albums, 150,000 illicit pictures, taken with him in every picture with over 12,700 women. Yeah, he's in every picture with with 12,700 women. That is insane. He, in the 90s, I guess he taught in the Philippines, and since then he would go back to the Philippines 3 times a year or so. Yeah, I bet he did. To, absorb more culture. Yeah, right. But he took a shit ton of film with him. And, yeah, I guess then he got busted. I'm trying to see here. How did this guy get busted? Oh, yeah. This is a great quote from the what's his name? What's this bozo's name? This lecherous old bastard. Takashima. Takashima's quote was, and I quote, "When I became free from the bounds of morality, the sense of liberation was strong." Okay, Shakespeare. And, yeah, the Yokohama Board of Education said, this is inexcusable. I guess they're going to take away this guy's pension. Yeah, they're taking away his retirement pay. And he'll do some time, probably. He's an old guy. He's just an old bastard. You see him in the picture. God, that is a horrific looking necktie, buddy. That is not fashionable. Yeah, so that's something. Fun news. What do we got here for Ikebukuro news? Let's check. What's happening in the Ikebuks? I posted something on the Twitter, and also on Facey. What did it talk about? Yeah, they were trying to get our. There was a shop down here. They're not allowed to hire. It's illegal to pay a high school girl to let a bunch of scumbags look up her skirt, even if she's wearing underwear. So what this bustling, hustling entrepreneur did is he hired her. He was hiring this girl to sit in a room and fold origami cranes, like, you know, the birds made of paper, Japanese style, to fold these cranes, and while she was folding them, there'd be dudes behind a one-way mirror, you know, whacking off or whatever. And he totally gets busted. They pick him up, and he swears up and down that he thought he was totally within the bounds of the law. So we'll cover that incredibly important story. Forget all that nonsense recently about how we have factual confirmation, hard data from the DIA that ISIS was actually developed and let loose by the CIA and by the State Department. Ignore that. Ignore the fact that it's now a proven, known fact that America unleashed ISIS on the world. Let's just concentrate on this origami panty scandal in Ikebukuro, because that's the good stuff. Tokyo cops arrest man for pimping teen runaway in Saitama sex service. Saitama 5.6 today. It's all good up there. Yeah, so that's the big news in the Ikebuks. Oh yeah, something else that popped up a couple days ago on my radar. Apparently there's a park, a children's park in Ikebukuro, and it's a hotspot. Hotspot meaning it's radioactive. Yeah, I don't know what people were doing with radio detection equipment, Geiger counters, whatever it is, but they found out there's a hotspot in a playground. Not near me. Thank God. As long as it's not near me. I don't know exactly where. It's not a main Ikebukuro area, but a subdivision of Ikebukuro, and they had found this hotspot in this playground. No other. There's a blip in the news feeds. Couldn't find any more information about it. I checked in Japanese, couldn't really find anything, but that's pretty fucking terrifying. Yeah, it's all smiles over here. Let's see here, what else? Okay, it was a violent weekend. Not for me personally. I can't afford that kind of shit anymore. You know, once you get hit with a $50,000 restitution payment, you learn your lesson. But let's see, on the weekend there was a lot of good fights, and that's something, kind of the big thing that I wanted to talk about today. To warm it up, let's look at KSW 31. KSW 31 MMA event that was on the 23rd, and my boy Mariusz Pudzianowski, former 5-time world's strongest man from Poland, he fought, and he completely knocked the shit out of Gracie. What's this guy's name? I'm sure I'm mispronouncing his name. Rolls Gracie. Holes Gracie. It doesn't matter anymore, because Pudzianowski just hit him with a goddamn right-hand hammer. You could see the vid. Just go look for it. KSW 31. Mariusz Pudzianowski puts Gracie down like a dog with a big looping punch, nailed him, and then finished him on the floor with a couple more punches. You know what? Pudzianowski, man, he hasn't gotten a lot of play in the MMA world yet. I mean, he did, you know, he got his thing on with Bob Sapp, but I could see him doing something else. He's got a big name. He's got a lot of followers. No shit, he's got the power. What other people may not realize, he's also got a massive, massive cardiovascular engine and a boxing background. He's older, but so what? You know, that's what we're going to talk about in a minute. A lot of the people who are doing interesting stuff in combat sports right now, they're older. And, man, I'm just pumped. For me, it's cool to see Pudzianowski get in there and put someone down. And I hope he can get another fight soon. I hope it's an interesting one. You know, I hope he's developed his wrestling, takedown defense, and hopefully his ground game enough so that he can get in there and, you know, throw big bombs, which is what everyone wants to see. Throw those goddamn world's strongest man bombs without constantly having to be terrified of a takedown. So that was cool. That kind of like kicked off a violent weekend. Now let's move into something else. Now, hey, whew, I know that this is going to come as a shock. It's a shock to me. And I know it's going to come as a shock to a lot of other people. But I got to say, UFC 187. UFC 187 was the shit. It was the shit. Yeah, and I haven't said that about UFC since like UFC 2. So this is pretty big news in combat sports for me. And what's really bizarre about 187 is that looking at the card from afar, which I barely do because UFC is usually, just toilet paper. It's crap. Their shows are horrible. I don't find them entertaining at all. I couldn't care less about the majority of the talent, quote-unquote talent that they have, the characters, etc. But, so what happened? Well, we finally got rid of, Anderson, Bionic Leg, Born Identity Silva, after he pops for, 20 kinds of steroids. And, he's out. Then we got, John Nose Candy Jones, Dr. Hit and Run. He's out. Okay? So, then UFC has got to come up with some interesting things. They've lost a couple of their swing me nuts campaign guys, and what do they do for 187? Okay, first of all, we got Cormier. Cormier gets in, and he bangs, and that was not a bad fight. It was not a bad fight. It wasn't groundbreaking, it wasn't earth-shattering, but Cormier basically put a fucking beat down on Johnson. And Johnson, he was no chump, but it's kind of like what I think Cormier should have been able to do with Jones. He came out and was able to do with Johnson, which is good. It was good. That was just the warm-up, okay? That was just the goddamn warm-up. I'm happy that Cormier won. And also, I've also got a kick out of the press conference stuff with him screaming at that dude. What was that guy's name? You guys know what I'm talking about. Calling him out, Ryan Bader. Yeah, Bader. Ryan Bader. Cormier called him out and said, I wanted the easiest fight in the division. I said, give me Ryan Bader. Yeah, Bader got all hot and bothered. That was pretty fucking hilarious. That was good stuff. Next, moving on. Chris Weidman. Man, Chris Weidman's legit. Chris Weidman is the real deal, and I've been saying this for a while. Hold on, let me check this message real quick. Okay. Yeah, Weidman is legit, and I know there are people out there rolling their eyes. Yeah, all 10 of the people that are going to listen to this, rolling your eyes. 11. It's probably more like 11. But I've said this for a long time. Weidman's the real deal, okay? People said, he beat Anderson because Anderson was clowning. What was his record when he went into that fight? It was pretty goddamn badass, right? No losses. So he goes in. Anderson's acting like a dick. He knocks him clean the fuck out. That's gangster. That's gangster. I mean, tell me what's more gangster than that. You've got some joker dancing around acting like a jerk, and you knock him out. Gangster. Then what's next? They come back for the next fight. First of all, I've said this multiple times in multiple places. Anderson looked like shit even before that fight started. Looked like someone let the air out of his tires. Okay, he just looked awful. They come out, he looks sluggish. I've read on on forums and whatnot, people saying, "Oh, Anderson had him in the first round." Bullshit, he did. He looked awful. Also in that first round, Weidman, whatever his name is, he threw a beautiful head kick, beautiful roundhouse head kick. That was a big sign for me. I am a kickboxing aficionado, and when I know a good kick when I see it. That the kicks that Weidman's throwing are absolutely fabulous. His timing's still a little raw. But his checks for defense, like the one he used to snap Anderson's goddamn leg, and his kicks, technically they're very, very good. They're very good. He's got great hip flexibility. He's kicking with power. Once he gets that timing down, that's the thing that takes the longest to get. Once he gets that, his kicks are going to be very, very, very dangerous. And I saw that then. Then he comes in and he, just humiliates Belfort. Humiliates Vitor Belfort. And, of course, anyone who pays attention to the sport would probably, a lot of people say, well, of course he's going to humiliate Belfort. Belfort's old. He's an old guy. Yeah, whatever. If Belfort had gone in there and knocked Weidman the fuck out, everyone would be saying, well, of course he knocked him out. He's Vitor Belfort. He's super, super hands. So you can't listen to anybody. You can't do that. It was a good fight, and Weidman took some punches, came back, and just really beat the shit out of Vitor Belfort. You know, I don't know, remember, he beat the shit out of Machida as well. Nothing like he did to Belfort, but he beat Machida. I don't know what the haters want. They're all talking about Jakar and Rockman, all this shit. Yeah, whatever. We'll see what happens. I'm putting money on Weidman for the foreseeable future. You know, if he has injuries, he's smart. He's not going to fight with injuries. He's a smart guy. He's young. And he's the goddamn champion. He doesn't need to fight with injuries. So if he's getting hurt, he's going to sit out. If he takes fights, I'm going to assume he's healthy. And if he's healthy, I see him winning for quite a while. You know, light heavyweight in UFC is not a very impressive division. And I see Weidman kicking some serious ass up there for a little while. Anyway, we'll see what transpires in the near future. Next, talking about fighting with injuries. Fucking the Pitbull, man. The Pitbull. Andrei Arlovsky. Man, I have been swinging on Arlovsky's nuts for a long time. I've liked the Pitbull. I've liked Andrei Arlovsky for a long time. I just think he's charismatic. He's basically an exciting fighter. I think he was doing a lot of cool stuff that a lot of other fighters are doing now. As far as like using social media, YouTube, to reach people and, you know, get out there, and the way he trains, his training I think is maybe a little inconsistent, but his background's solid, and I always enjoy his fights. I also just think he's got balls of steel. What's more, you know, he's old now. I mean, he's not old in normal years, but he's old in fighter years. He's been doing this a long time. He's taken some ass whippings. But, man, holy shit, has he just come back on the radar in the UFC. Just come back on. You know, 3 years ago, he was gone. Like 3 years ago. Jesus, 4 years ago. 3 years ago, just gone. Like, you know, you're going to buy tickets. You're going to buy a goddamn token and watch Arlovsky fight behind a Walmart. You know, that was the kind of shit that's where it was going. You know, you're going to watch Arlovsky fight just hacks behind a goddamn Walmart in Minnesota or something. And now he's back on the radar. He's fucking people up. And, man, him and Brown in 187, that was a throwdown. That was a good old-fashioned throwdown. Brown's no chump. I like Brown. I think he's a very tough guy. And watching Arlovsky come back from the punishment, and then finding out afterwards, you know, reading that Arlovsky was hurt. He had screwed up his calf. Something had popped in his calf just days before the fight. It was such a serious injury that he was carried. Like, he had to limp in with the assistance from his coaches to get into the venue. And then you know, they rubbed it up, warmed him up, and then he did the doctor thing, just sucking up pain to try to make it look like he could fight. They said, it's on you, and he said he wants to fight. I guess, you know, Dana called him to the office and said, you really want to fight? And he's like, fuck yeah, I want to bang. He gets in there, does it, and then he even said afterwards, in the first round, he just felt like he was dying. He was exhausted, on the verge of quitting. For some reason, he didn't quit. I mean, anyone who's ever fought can understand why. Arlovsky's a goddamn warrior. You know, he's a fucking Spartan. And he came back and he just beat the shit out of Travis Brown, who is a legitimate tough guy. If you didn't watch the fight, you need to watch the fight. And you can watch it more than once. It was really good. Also, Arlovsky, the thing I like about the way he fights is I think Arlovsky's someone who's adapted boxing, Western-style boxing. He's adapted it through trial and error to how you can really use it in the cage. Another guy who has is Nick Diaz. They don't really, it's no longer really Western-style boxing. A lot of other guys, they go and have a boxing coach. They copy-paste. They copy these boxing moves and footwork and angles, and they try to let them happen in the cage. And you know what? A lot of times it's unsuccessful. And it's unsuccessful for a lot of different reasons. Reason number one, it's not a fucking boxing match. It's not a fucking boxing match. It's mixed martial arts. The rhythm's different. The distance is wildly different. What people are doing is different. The things that are coming at you are different. The threats are totally different. So a lot of Western boxing principles simply won't work. Not when you copy-paste those principles. However, someone like Arlovsky's been doing this long enough, and he's done enough boxing. He's trained at Wild Card with Freddie Roach. He's been around. He's done some serious sparring with big guys. And watching him fight Travis Brown, he's using like a kind of combat sambo footwork. So like a real MMA staple kind of footwork with boxing. I don't know. I haven't really been able to put this into words yet. With boxing combinations and boxing variation and angles, without that the kind of like obsession on snap. He's throwing really heavy boxing shots with very neutral footwork that's good for throwing kicks, blocking kicks, and getting and stuffing a takedown. So his footwork has evolved. Now I remember watching him, for example, in his fight with Fedor. His footwork was boxing footwork. Basically, when he had his fall from grace, he was training boxing really hard. He was coming into fights with his boxing footwork, and I'm not saying that's the reason he took a dump, but it didn't help him at all. That's not the kind of footwork that you need. Watch Nick Diaz too. Nick Diaz, a bit more, can get away with it because of the people in his division. But at the same time, Nick Diaz has changed a lot of angling around, a lot of footwork around, and it's boxing, but it's like this lazy boxing that works in MMA. I don't know. I don't watch enough UFC, honestly, to be that up to speed on it. But Arlovsky's definitely changed. He also looks a little heavier. He's not as ripped as he used to be, but he just looks very I don't know. He just looks mean. He looks mean. He's got that, like, he definitely is in the prime of his old man strength now. That strength that you get in your 30s and can linger into your 40s. You know, he's definitely got that right now. Not only that, this is do or die time for Andrei Arlovsky. If he's going to do anything else, it needs to be now. It needs to be in the next year or two. This is kind of, this is the end for him. He's taken a lot of beatings, and athletically, he's fading a little bit. So, he's got to make it happen now. But that having been said, 187, man, that was a card worth watching, and they're rare. And the reason they were good is because it wasn't what the UFC wanted to have happen. And I think that's the key point. This is not the card that the UFC intended to have. Okay? The UFC intended to have other people on this card. And if that had happened, the whole show would have been different. The fact that things didn't go the way the UFC wanted them to go, I think that's really interesting. It's one of the best shows I've seen in years and years and years. And it wasn't what they wanted. So, I don't know. I don't know what you can take away from that or what they can take away from it. But it was impressive. I hope they don't fuck it up. As much shit as I talk about the UFC and about a lot of other events, I like to watch good combat sport. I want to see warriors go out there and bang. And if I can see that, I'll admit production's really good when it's good, and when it's shit, I'll say that too. I'm not going to beat around the bush about that. So, bit of a hat tip to 187. We'll see what they can come up with next. Let's see what's going on in the world of kick. Let's see here. Magnum 38. Is Magnum 38 happening next week? The Shin Nihon show, Magnum 38. I think it's happening next week. I know that, what's that other show? Winners 2, that's, I think that's coming in June. I might go to one of those. If I do, I'll talk about it on one of the later podcasts. Oh, here we go. Badahari documentary. Badahari's team has been working on an official documentary about Badahari for a while. Okay, I gotta come out and talk about this real quick. Why is the world of combat sports and the world of kickboxing, why do they like Badahari so much? I just don't get it. And I've been watching Badahari for years, well over a decade. And when he was at his peak, twice, I was watching Badahari fight, and I just never liked him. Not even just personally. I don't really respect or admire his kickboxing style very much. I do admire his aggression. He's extremely aggressive, and he's oddly athletic for his physique. He's got extremely long wingspan, very, very a bizarre kind of build for his body, which gives him an kind of awkward timing and allows him to land punches and kicks and knees that from angles and places that people I don't think are expecting him to come from. That's great, but basically his style, obviously his personality is complete fucking trash. He's disgusting. He's he's a black hole. He's anti-charisma. I've never understood this obsession with him, and it's 2015. It's 2015. He went. I don't know. I guess he beat up Peter Graham a little while back. Whatever. Peter Graham dismantled Badr Hari's jaw at some point. He beats him up. He gets beat up. Whatever. But I don't get it. I know he's a tough guy, but there are a lot of tough guys out there. You know, is it the bad boy thing? I don't understand why that's appealing in combat sports. I don't get why fans are going to be interested in that. You know, John Jones is a bad boy. He did a hit and run with a pregnant woman, grabbed some cash and left his dope in the car and ran and jumped the fence. That doesn't make me more interested in him as a fighter. So I don't understand what the obsession is with Badr Hari. You know, Badr Hari's not going to do anything anymore. He's a done deal. He's a done deal. He's a finished. It's over. I don't get it. I don't understand it. That's one thing there. Kick, man. The world of kick is very convoluted right now. No idea what Glory's going to do. No idea who they're going to be able to sign. Can they take care of business with Gogan Saki? I don't know. A lot of events, lion fight stuff. I don't even like those. I've watched a few of them. I don't like them at all. Oh, yeah, one thing. Le Banner. Le Banner had the first fight in his retirement tour. When was this? This is like a week ago. Or a couple weeks ago. Let me see here. I got it. Yeah, right at the end of April. He had the retirement fight. I guess he's having a retirement tour, and he had a fight. I think Le Banner's 42 years old at this point. And I'll tell you what, Le Banner looked really fucking good, man. Really good. He went in there, he fought this younger dude, and I thought he did really well. He won, not a big surprise, but yeah, the guy's not terribly amazing. He's a bit of a can, and he's fighting Le Banner. But to be honest, I think Le Banner looked better in that fight than a lot of the American prospects in Glory do. At least he's got kickboxing fundamentals. Kickboxing fundamentals. Which, you know, these jokers, these clowns that they're digging up in, I don't know, in back alleys in the States, throwing into contests, they don't have any clue what they're doing. They have no fundamentals. They have no fitness whatsoever. Le Banner, 42, he's muscular. He looks very healthy. He looks better now than he did 4 or 5 years ago. And, you know, he's in the ring. He's fighting. You got to respect that. I was pumped up. He's not going to come up to top tier and beat anyone up. That's out of the question, obviously. He's doing his retirement tour. But my point is, he looks better than a lot of the jokers I see in these Glory shows. So that is what it is. As far as anything else in the kick world right now, yeah, I don't really have anything else on my radar. I know Zambides is, he's going to retire, and he should. Zambides is a guy who was a very exciting fighter, but also it was all about his physical gifts, speed and power, and stamina. That stamina's gone, and his speed is seriously declined. So that's not a big surprise. He should retire. Let's see what else is up. No one cares about Badr Hari. Mike's Gym, dude, just attracting scumbags over there. What else? You know what, man? Joe Schilling, who gives a shit? You know, I like Schilling, dude. I think, as far as the Americans go, as far as I know, he's the best out there. But I wish he'd quit fucking around with MMA and just be a kickboxer. It's gonna spell his doom, man. Mark my words. It'll spell his doom. He's going to spend too much time kickboxing. He's going to come back, or too much time in MMA, win a couple fights, maybe hit a rough patch, come back to kickboxing, and get knocked the fuck out kickboxing because his timing's screwed up. Other people have tried and it hasn't gone so well. Let's see here. Let's see. I guess that's it. Yeah. I don't know. It's not that hot right now. The biggest thing on my radar was UFC 187. Far more entertaining than Pacquiao Mayweather. Light years. Light years more entertaining. And light years more entertaining than the last Glory show I saw. So, you know, Glory 21, zero dong movement. Zero dong movement. I mean, we've got 22s coming up on June 5th. I'll watch that. Keeping my fingers crossed that Verhoeven gets knocked out. Boring. It's like having Semi Schilt back with a crown. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And I guess that's it for now. We'll see what happens next week. If we can get some people on here. No hurry. Summer's coming. There'll be lots of interesting things in Tokyo. And hopefully the fight sport community get their shit together. Aside from that, I'm going to wrap it up. This is Gaijinass coming at you from Ikebuks, Tokyo. And thanks. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck this week. Keep it real. Train hard. Take no shit.